Hello everyone, today we have new video review and this time we're gonna check fresh release from ICM. As you can see, that's a Heinkel 111 in H6 version, and that's of course a German bomber in 148 scale. Now we have a new type for the review, but as usual let me remind you that we are still gathering money for the new camera and you can help us by pressing the donate button on our website. It is easy. It can be done via PayPal, so it should be safe as well. And of course you decide the amount you would send us. As you can see, this release is based on the Heinkel plastic from Ukrainian manufacturer which we reviewed before, and now we have this H6 version. There are some differences on external and internal surfaces, of course. As you can see, box size is now different from what we saw before. Why? Because it is now thicker, so now there is more space inside for the parts, and here you can see comparison with my hand. So top size didn't change, but thickness is now bigger. Here on the side we have short history note and also information about the kit. There are 325 parts, which is quite, I would say, normal amount for twin engine 148 scale bomber. And here from the other side you can see the side views for the marking option, which you can also see on the box art. Now just give me a second to open it. It might be a bit tricky because those increased size boxes have a tight fit, and as you can see, for example, here it was torn off because somebody was trying to take it off at any point or any price, but now we're gonna be careful and tear it as well. So again, box structure is typical for ICM. As you can see, we have this flexible color printed part, and then we have this white cardboard box which is thicker and it has all parts packed inside. As you can see, now we have even separation by several plastic bags because there are many parts, and we're gonna check them in a second. Of course, we're gonna start from the top. As you can see here, we have several gray plastic screws. These are specific for today's version of the aircraft, and now I'm going to show them to you. Okay, I would like to start with clear sprue, which is packed into the separate bag as well. Such packaging should protect it from possible scratches, and of course it's a nice feature to have, especially when there are many plastic sprues inside. And now just give me a second, we'll zoom in so that you can see this part closer. So here you can see it. These are quite nicely molded parts. I don't see any possible problems with them. And the only thing you will need here is masks, of course, because masks are not included, and you will need them either cut by your hands or maybe bought as an aftermarket set. Next we have these nice torpedoes. As you can see, they're molded out of gray plastic, and we have the special pods which should attach them to, and inside we have position pins, as far as you can see. These should be helpful with alignment. I will zoom in so that you can see these pins, and note that tail section should be assembled out of several parts, and here you can see top section. These nose parts will serve as guiding elements as well, and here you can see one of the tail fins which should be attached separately, as I said before. Next we have 1.5 sprues, I would say. Why? Because as you can see, two frames are absolutely identical. These two, because they feature landing gear parts, propeller, bombs, and also engine exhaust, as far as I can see. Note that wheels will have to be assembled out of two halves. There are position pins inside, but I would rather recommend to search for some resin replacement because this aircraft should be big, and of course it deserves better detailing in form of resin parts. I will zoom in so that you can see these wheels. They're nice for out of the box version, but if you can get resin replacement, I would rather do it. Here you can see exhausts, and here is the one piece propeller. Note attachment points placement. It should be easy to cut through without damaging blades. And here you can see different, let's say, belly panel for this aircraft. As you can see, it features all necessary detailing, recessed panel lines and riveting. As you can see, there are two types of those parts. And here are some other external elements as well as landing gear parts. Next we have huge plastic bag with plenty of big frames. I need a second to open them, and we will take a look at them as well. Okay, so we remove this plastic sprue and we start with this pair of sprues. As you can see here, we have all, let's say, twin components. Of course, landing gear wheels won't be used in this set because we have a new type. Nevertheless, we will have to use, for example, this engine. As you can see, out of the box kit will have quite detailed engine. I will zoom in so that you can see it. This is 148 scale plastic kit. Still we have engine parts, and both engines can be exposed, so there is no, let's say, half decisions where you get only one engine. You get both engines, and both engines can be exposed on your model, so the final decision will be up to you. And of course, molding quality is really nice. Inside again we have position elements, which should come handy for easier and faster assembly process. Next we have large fuselage halves. As you can see, both are molded together with tail segment. And of course we have the special cutouts for clear elements. External detailing looks the same as what we saw on the belly panels, so we have recessed panel lines, riveting, and also some hatches pre-molded. Here you can see, for example, riveting. Here are some internal elements. Of course you can spice up them with help of P parts. And here you can see that we have position pins inside fuselage parts, also some minor detailing of the fuselage parts in internal surfaces, and of course it will be improved with separately molded parts, so no worries, it will look even better. And as I said before, there are some aftermarket sets for Junkers, so you can get them and install into this model. Then here we have different parts for engine base, and as you can see we have the special engine mounts, exhausts, and some different minor elements, so even some of the wiring will be copied out of the box. Next we have clear plastic bag with transparent plastic sprue. Again, I need a second to open it, and here it is. So of course, as you can guess, here we have another sprue with canopy parts, and again we don't have any masks included even for those. So get ready to cut them with your own hands, or I would rather advise to get aftermarket set in order to make whole process easier. Then here we have different parts which will have to be installed into the fuselage, and as you can see we have these huge spars. I'll zoom out. Those huge spars which should hold wings in place, because wings will be quite big here and they should be supported by something, of course. And as for the wings, here is the first plastic sprue. As you can see, this one also features tail surfaces. Each tail wing should be assembled out of two hulls and also separate elevators. And again, detailing here is similar to what we saw on the fuselage. And inside we have position pins, because these huge parts really need such element, because otherwise it will be quite tricky to combine them together. But note that even in 148 scale, flaps are pre-molded, so either you will have to get some P set in order to have this feature in retracted position, or you will have just to assemble aircraft with fixed flaps. Here we have another let's say sprue with wing parts. Also here we have separate ailerons and elevators. Everything is here, and note that each elevator should be assembled out of two hulls, so be careful. The same can be said about ailerons as well, by the way. And last but not the least in this set is this assembly manual, which is printed in color. We have two short history notes in Russian and English, technical specifications, some safety advices, colors chart. Then there is a parts map, and note that many parts won't be used, so be careful and use the right elements for your aircraft. Here we have nice decals sheet. As you can see, we even have here some decals for the cockpit, dashboard, and as I said before, you can get even better detailing by adding PE parts or maybe playing with painting techniques. Assembly process starts with internal components. That's a bomb bay which will be fixed between these two spars which we saw before. Then you continue with interior cabin. We join all the spars to the fuselage half. Then we continue by closing fuselage, assembling the tail surface, as you can see here. Then there is an engine assembly. Next we have both engines installed onto the wing, both wings attached to the fuselage. Then we close all cowlings on this aircraft, canopy parts installed, landing gear system and bombs and torpedoes. And in total you will have to perform 132 steps in order to have this aircraft like this. And next we have, I guess that's a stenciling guide, and here we have marking options which are printed in color. Here is the first one, here is the second one, and then we have third and the fourth one, which is in white color, and I think the most interesting here, because you can play with weathering techniques, of course. So that's all for this video review. I hope you enjoyed it. As usual, I will be happy to hear your opinion about twin engine bombers in 1/48 scale. Write it here in the comment section below. If you like this video, press the like button, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and of course I will see you in the next video review as usual. Bye!